Most of us think of meditation as a tool to feel better, right? To kind of smooth out the rough edges of life. But what if its real purpose isn't just about healing? What if it's about completely changing the way you see everything? Today, we're diving into an ancient practice that asks exactly that. A lot of us, and I mean a lot, come to meditation from a place of real pain. And this quote, well, it hits hard because so many people get it. That search for relief, for any way out of the suffering. It just shows you the incredible, life-changing power these practices can have. And let's be real, it is no secret. The world is in the middle of this massive meditation boom. I mean, what used to be seen as this kind of niche spiritual thing is now totally mainstream. It's a science-backed tool that everyone's using to get by in the modern world. And you can see why. People are turning to it to handle the crazy stress of daily life, to finally work through old wounds, and just to find a little bit of joy and quiet inside. For millions of people, it's become as basic as eating healthy food or getting a good night's sleep. It's just a fundamental habit for a better life. But this brings up a really important question. Is just feeling better for a little while the ultimate goal? I mean, is the whole point just to patch ourselves up so we can get back out there and, well, get hurt all over again? Seriously, think about it for a second. If meditation is only a tool to manage the symptoms, to calm the anxiety or soothe the trauma, we might just be stuck in this endless loop. Get hurt, heal, repeat. Healing is an amazing first step for sure, but what if there was a way to get at the root cause of the suffering itself? We all have these huge, fundamental questions rattling around inside us. Who am I? Why am I even here? What is all this? But facing them is tough. It brings up all this uncertainty, and honestly, that can be terrifying. So what do? We stay busy, we distract ourselves, push those questions way down, and just hope they go away. And this is where we see a major fork in the road. Most modern meditation you hear about is aimed at managing the symptoms, the stress, the anxiety, to get to a state of calm. Ganhwa Seon, though, is aiming for something totally different. It uses a very special tool to dig right past all those symptoms, to find the actual root of it all, and in the process, uncover this profound wisdom. So let's talk about this path. This is Ganhwa Seon. It's a Korean Seon Buddhist tradition, and it doesn't just want to calm your mind. It wants to use your mind to break through its own limits, to turn and directly face those big, scary questions we're all so good at avoiding. Okay, so the main tool for this practice is something called the Hwadu. Now, the Hwadu is a question that makes absolutely no logical sense. It's a paradox. Something like, what is this? Or, what was my original face before my parents were born? You are not supposed to answer it. The entire point is to use this question as a wrench to jam the gears of your analytical mind and bring it to a complete stop. Now, this is not a journey you're meant to take all by yourself. The whole practice really rests on three crucial pillars. First, a sanjishik, that's an experienced master who knows how to cut through all your mind's tricks. Second, a doban, a community of people doing it with you for support. And third, a dedicated environment. You put those three together, and you've got the container you need to face a challenge this big. And this brings us to the core method of the practice, which is so different from what we're used to. It's asking us to move our entire center of awareness out of our heads and down into our bodies. To basically let go of the one tool we trust for everything, our intellect. This quote from a Seon master is the instruction. I mean, just listen to that. Forget everything above your neck. For modern people who have spent their entire lives being trained to think, to analyze, to figure things out, that's a shocking thing to hear. So here's the absolute crucial point. You cannot use thought to solve the problem of thought itself. It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. Our instant reaction when given a Hwadu is to try and guess the right answer. But that's the whole trap. The master's job is to just relentlessly cut down those little intellectual games you're playing. So the goal here is not to solve a puzzle. The goal is to hold that question with so much energy and focus that the thinking mind just gives up. It lets go completely. The wisdom that Ganhwa Seon is pointing to is found in that quiet space of pure awareness, that tiny moment before a thought is even born. Okay, so this all might sound a little bit abstract. You might be wondering, does this actually work for real people? Well, the experiences of international students who've actually gone and done this, they're pretty powerful, and they really speak for themselves. Imagine a change so deep that after just 1 week, you feel like a completely different person. This is from a practitioner in the US, and it just shows you the incredibly fast, life-altering potential of this kind of intense practice. This is Mokhtan from France. He flew 10 hours to go to a retreat. Now, he'd done other types of meditation before, like Vipassana, and at first he was really confused. But with the master's guidance, he had what he calls an unforgettable enlightenment moment. For other people, the whole experience is just this huge emotional release. This practitioner from New Zealand talks about a deep, deep purification, not tears of sadness, but tears of just pure gratitude and relief. Like a whole lifetime of pent-up emotion was finally allowed to just flow free.
And all this interest is turning into a real global movement. New centers are opening up in places like Los Angeles and Auckland. And the masters of this tradition, they're really clear about this. The truth they're pointing to has absolutely nothing to do with being Korean or being Buddhist. It is a universal human inheritance.
So what does all this mean in the grand scheme of things? Well, the spread of a practice like Ganhwa Seon might actually be part of a much bigger shift happening in human consciousness. Look, we've gotten really good at mastering the external world, right, through industrial and tech revolutions. But a lot of people feel like we're at a point now where the next great frontier isn't out there, it's in here. The next big evolution we need is a spiritual one. And what's so fascinating is how they frame this. It's not about converting to some new religion. Like this master says, the walls are crumbling. You can be a Christian, you can be Jewish, you can be an atheist. It doesn't matter. This is being presented as a universal human technology for finding truth, and it's available to absolutely anyone. So I'll leave you with this final thought. In a world that is just overflowing with information, with answers for everything, is it possible that the most powerful tool for real change isn't another piece of data, but the courage to just hold a single unanswered question?